You'll notice throughout these modern Quran translations a systematic replacement of the original Arabic terms which themselves often derive from Hebrew roots, with generic English words. For example, the Hebrew name Enosh, rendered in Arabic as Enos, literally means mortal man. In classical Arabic, Rajul means man, and its plural Rijal means men. Likewise, Imra means woman, and Shah's person, with the plural Shabab meaning people. You can confirm all of these in any Quranic or Arabic English dictionary. Yet many recent English editions of the Quran simply substitute people, mankind, or even forgetful female where the original Arabic refers specifically to the tribe of Enosh, the descendants of Seth's son, and their eponymous role as the forgetful ones who stray from divine remembrance. For example, 87-6 uses Tanza, you forget. This deliberately obscures the reference to the biblical lineage found in Genesis 5:1-11 and Luke 3:38. This same pattern recurs with words for the Nephilim and their progeny. In the book of Enoch, 7:1-6, and Jubilees, 5:1-2, these fallen beings who took human wives and sired giants are described in Hebrew as Nephilim and Gibbarim, the mighty or tyrants. In Quran 14:15 and elsewhere, the Arabic Jabbar echoes the Hebrew root GBR, denoting a tyrant or mighty one. Yet many translators render Jabbar simply as tyrant, losing the link to the ancient Hebrew terminology. Likewise, the Quranic jinn are often glossed merely as spirits, but in the classical Arabic of the Quran they are clearly supernatural offspring of those same extraterrestrial sons of God, Gen 6:1-4. The root JNN means hidden, but the Quran, for example 46:29, 72-6, explicitly describes them mingling with human lineages, even taking human form and mating with humans, precisely the narrative given of the Nephilim and their demonic descendants. Across the scriptures and Quranic commentary, words like al-Amin, worlds or beings, and al-Jinn recur from their Hebrew antecedents but are now sanitized into abstract nouns in translation. If you study each Arabic root, Madat words, alongside Hebrew lexicons and early Islamic history, the original nuances leap off the page: tribal names, Enosh, categories of beings, Nephilim, Gibbarim, Jinn, and the deep mythic connections between the Bible and the Quran. In short, most non-Arab translators have replaced precise, tribe and species-specific Arabic terms with broad English equivalents: people, mankind, spirits, all but erasing the Quran's intricate web of biblical references to Seth's progeny, fallen angels, giants, and jinn. A fresh translation that honors each Arabic root will reveal a far richer tapestry of interconnected traditions, and expose just how much has been concealed by convenient word substitution. We reject the modern Quran's many competing editions and scripts, which claim to be the exact revelation delivered to Muhammad in Ramadan of 610 CE by the angel Gabriel in the cave outside Mecca. In so doing, we refuse to accept the distortions that have crept in, especially those introduced through later vocalization marks, musical recitations, tajwid, and foreign translations. Non-Arabic readers who rely on English or other translations often have no inkling of what the Quran originally said. For example, most translations render Surah 109-4, "If you dispute us about Allah," as an invitation to consult the people of the book, but they lose sight of the Hebrew roots. The verse actually says that if you doubt key words, matat, in Muhammad's message, you should ask those who read Hebrew, because they alone know the true meanings before the Arabic vocalization was imposed. Similarly, the Arabic word sirat, path, occurs 45 times in the Quran with multiple spellings, sirat, zurat, and even appeared in early scripts as the root of Moses' teachings in Surah 7:16. It actually derives from the Hebrew srt, meaning linear or straight, not the metaphoric way, tarak, or street, share. This straight line sense is echoed in the life force connection between spirit and soul, akin to an umbilical cord, sirat, linking placenta to fetus, yet translators render it simply way or path, oblivious to its etheric connotations. Even the brief Surah Al-Asr, 103, is mistranslated as by time, when the root sr literally means to squeeze, extract juice. Thus the opening wal asr should read and by the juicing, by that moment when spirit departs the body. Ancient Hebrew cognates in the Song of Solomon, 8-2, underscore this: "Give me of your pomegranate's juice," showing that the same root evokes extraction, not mere chronology. The Quran itself tells us that its true prototype was an inscribed slate, al-Law al-Mahfuz, Quran 43-2-4, yet Muslims continue to ignore this mother of the book, preferring recensions embroidered with diacritics and melodic ornaments. They miss the point. God's words were first etched in preserved stone. What we recite today is a vocalized Arabic version meant only to help understanding, 43-4. Why do Hebrew scriptures define Adam's wife's name, Hawa, as life-giver, Gen 3:20, yet offer no meaning for names such as Adam, Kabil, Cain, Habil, Abel, he, Seth, or Enosh, Enosh? If Muslims heeded Quran 10:94-95, they would ask those who read scripture to recover these original senses. Isa, Jesus, and Muhammad belong to the same Ismaili lineage, 33-7, 2-132, yet translators mute their Hebrew-Arabic name meanings. Adam comes from Strong's 119-132, meaning ruddy or rosy red, Gen 2-7, Job 14-1a pale, fair-skinned human, not man or mankind. Enosh, Strong's 583, means forgetful one, indicating that our race was born under amnesia, cut off from the deep history of pre-Atomite humanity. Because Quranic translators ignore these Hebraic roots, entire passages become generic metaphors rather than precise historical or genealogical statements. Drawing on Hebrew and Quranic chronologies, we see a strict 6,000-year dominion from Adam's birth, 3761 BCE, to 2000 CE, Adam, born 3761 BCE, Noah, 3000 BCE, Abraham, 2000 BCE, Moses, 1000 BCE, Jesus, circa 6 BCE, and Muhammad, born 570 CE. Each figure's message was intended only for his own seed, Adam and Eve's Adamites, Noah's family, Abraham's Ishmaelites, Moses' Levites, Jesus' Israelite tribe, Muhammad's Quraysh. Yet modern religions universalize these messages for all races, Africans, Aborigines, Asians, Indians, against both biblical and Quranic injunctions. For example, Quran 15:94, 42-7, Matt 15:24. Genesis 6:1-5 warns of sons of God, Beni Elohim, mating with the daughters of men, producing Gibberun, giants, tyrants. The resulting hybrid race corrupted the earth until the flood, an event foretold in both Torah and Quran, 11:27-30. After the deluge, a new Atomite, the Caucasus, emerged, our own pale man lineage. Pre-flood civilizations older than 6,000 years evaporated from our collective memory, leaving only speculative ruins. From the flood onward, the Atomites have catalyzed world chaos, wars, famines, plagues, just as Isa, Jesus, condemned them in John 8:44, "You are of your father the devil, and when he lies, he speaks his native tongue." Their destiny was sealed from Genesis 3:15, "I will put enmity between your seed and hers," a cosmic enmity carried forward in every century of Atomite dominion. Revelation 8:1 speaks of a silence in heaven for half an hour when the seventh seal opens. Revelation 18:10 foretells Babylon's fall in 1 hour. We interpret the first half hour as 1970 to 2000 CE and the hour as 2000 to 2060 CE, marking the final extinction of Adam's 6,000-year rule. We are neither bound by the Bible nor by the Quran's modern recensions. We trace our true lineage through the Anunnaki, Syrian overseers, and Natharu ancestors who infused humankind with 9 ethers and 9 spirit beings, shaping our Bahu souls. From Orion to Sirius to Earth's deep oceans, our race was prepared for this age, not by faith, but by scientific fact, genetics, chromosomal knowledge, and cosmic oversight. Our mission is clear: to rescue each tribe from the Adamites' false religions, to restore lost language keys, Hebrew root meanings, and to lead humanity into the new cycle ordained by our ancestors. We speak by divine knowledge, not by ritualized recitation. Our only miracle is the pen, the right understanding, the right wisdom, the right reason. In the end, neither faith nor dogma can replace truth. We stand apart, not black, brown, or yellow but the last remnant, Nagaru, destined by mathematics, by revelation, and by cosmic decree to see the Atomites fall and their false empires crumble. We carry the torch of the original words, the preserved slate, and the true Hebrew-Arabic meanings back into human awareness. Our salvation lies in knowledge, not in belief. The Quran must remain unchanged, exactly as revealed, just as the original Bible, see Matthew 5:18. No new dialects, no altered chapters, no added vowels or grammatical marks. The Quran itself emphasizes this: "We have sent down to you the book in Arabic so that you may understand." 12:2. See also 6-106-107. It is meant to be read in its pure, unaltered form, without translation or human interpretation. If you encounter an unfamiliar word, you are instructed to consult those fluent in the original tongue of Abraham, for Hebrew speakers preserve the roots of these words, 2-130-136. Some claim the original text was lost or destroyed. Yet Hebrews experienced the very same when Moses shattered the first tablets, Exodus 34:1, Deuteronomy 10:2. They received a fresh revelation, word for word. If Muslims truly believe their scripture was lost, why would they not expect Allah to restore it, as he did for Moses? Regarding lineage, the people of Sudan are the original bloodline of the Prophet Muhammad. The Sudanese are the true Alids, Banu al-Badr, and original people of the book, blending Ishmael's son Kedar, Genesis 25:12-13, with Judah and Dan, lost tribes who migrated south into Yemen, Ethiopia, and eventually Sudan. In the west, under the influence of Canaanite and Amorite settlers, Genesis 15:13-16, we maintained our identity as Nubian Hebrews, Islamic in faith but distinct in heritage. We preserved the six-pointed star and crescent emblem, not the five-pointed star of modern black Muslim movements. Muhammad himself was unlettered, Al-Ami, and spoke one Arabian dialect, 62-2, 7-157-158. Whenever he doubted a word's meaning, Allah commanded him to consult Hebrew scholars, Q 1644, 2-129-130. His initial hijrah to Ethiopia exposed him to Coptic Christians and local practices, robes, turbans, prayer beads, rugs, from which he adopted elements of Muslim worship. Arabic, I assert, is fundamentally a meld of Abraham's languages, the Persian of his father, the Egyptian of Hagar, and the Semitic roots of Canaanite tongues. Ishmael himself spoke a fusion of these. The Quran was revealed over 23 years, Ramadan 19, 610 AD, June 8, 632 AD, always in Arabic, lest the Arabs say, why has a scripture not been revealed to him in a tongue other than Arabic? 41-44. It was addressed specifically to Mecca and its environs, the Quraysh tribe, 42-7, 106-1, and only later to the surrounding towns, Yathrib/Medina, Yemen, Jeddah, Saba. All scriptural improvements, vowel markings, diacritics, grammar guides, are human inventions that risk obscuring the pure revelation. Modern translations differ widely because translators never return to Hebrew authorities when in doubt. True meaning resides in the original, unvocalized consonantal text, where each root conveys one unambiguous concept. For example, the root Rhm, Ar-Rahman, Rahim, the merciful, the compassionate, literally pertains to the womb's yielding function, entrance and exit, which is the purest form of mercy. Yet translators have rendered it variably as merciful, compassionate, or gracious, without consulting Hebrew cognates, Strong's H 7358. Thus, a devout believer recites Bismillahi, by way of Allah's name, before entering a virgin bride and again before a child's birth, invoking the source of all yielding and giving. Yet these subtle theological and linguistic nuances are lost in modern Quranic editions. Muhammad's message was tailored for his own people, unlettered Arabs of Mecca who spoke one dialect. Allah instructed him to seek Hebrew insight when vocabularies overlapped, 33:13. All Muslims today must honor that heritage by reading and preserving the scripture as it was revealed, in pure, unaltered Arabic, and by recognizing the shared lineage of Abraham's true descendants, from Ishmael's son Kedar to the Banu Abbas of Sudan. If you examine the Atomites, you notice striking hybrid traits, physical features shared with various animals. Some even swap body parts, and certain individuals grow tails, coccyx tails like monkeys. These beings combine monkeys' tails with ape-like forms, their bodies fully furred, sporting fangs and light-colored eyes. Their skin often has a pinkish hue, and they sometimes have pronounced ears or humps on their backs, classic signs of grafting, selective breeding, and cross-species mixing. They spread disease and wickedness across the land, just as Genesis 6:5 recounts. The Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. Though they have physical bodies, katat, and animal-like spirits, ka, they lack a true soul, nipesh. This distinction, soul versus spirit, is frequently twisted in Bible and Quran translations to mislead unaware readers, substituting fact for faith. In Hebrew Strong's Concordance, the word soul, Strong's number 7307, ruah, means wind, breath, or emotional being, exactly the same root used in Arabic. Genesis 1:2 describes this soul as a whirlwind hovering above the waters, while Psalm 104:30, Hebrew number 7307, calls it your ruah, your soul being. These passages refer to divine, etheric crafts of energy light, kabod, the glory of the Lord seen as glowing orbs that create whirlwinds, Ezekiel 3:12, 17, Matthew 17:2. Mistranslations often render and its Arabic equivalent as spirit, but the original root emphasizes emotional, moving force, the wind that animates life. Likewise, the Hebrew, Elohim, Strong's number 430, and Arabic, Aliha, Quran 3:26, are plural gods or deities, not a singular Allah. Ancient texts had no capital letters or vowels to distinguish singular from plural. That distinction was imposed later. Thus, Genesis 1:2 speaks of one of the Elohim, one of many divine beings, called Ruah, manifesting as a whirlwind craft. Jesus, Isa, in Quran 4-171, is called a spirit proceeding from him, confirming that deities possess Ruah. Adam himself received the breath of life, Genesis 2:7, and became a living being, Strong's number 5315, Nefesh, properly understood as living person or living self, not merely soul. After Adam and Eve, their descendants, the Adamites, inherited spirit, Ka, but lacked true soul, Nepesh. Only by mixing with other races, Egyptians, etc. did some regain Ruah, soul. For example, Abraham's union with an Egyptian woman, Genesis 16:1-4, produced descendants with souls. Likewise, Israelite men marrying black Egyptian women in Genesis 46:26 resulted in 66 souls entering Egypt, mixed descendants who, over 430 years, Exodus 12:40-41, grew into 600,000 men beside children, Exodus 12:37. These mixed multitudes bore souls through maternal lines. Yet many eventually lost them again through intermarriage and idolatry, as Joshua 5:1 laments, their spirit, Strong's number 7307, Ruah, melted away. Today's Caucasus are post-cloning derivatives of the original South African blacks, grafted with animal DNA, canine, porcine, simian, to produce a soulless, spirit-only lineage. Their unnatural heritage explains their disconnection from natural rhythm, their affinity for chaos, Sash, and their lack of innate soul, Ba. In contrast, the original African black race is born with Ba, soul, and natural rhythm, dancing, music, rhyme, evident in hip-hop's rise after the 1970s. If an Atomite woman mixes with a black man, her offspring regain Ba, soul. If she returns to a white Atomite man, that black germ is fought and often destroyed by his lineage, reflecting their chaotic, blood-type linked hostility, Rh negative attacking Rh positive. Hebrew and Arabic both reflect this in their roots, male, Zakar, and female, Nekva, designations, X and Y chromosomes, the primacy of woman, every man is born of a woman, and the original divine couple, Adam and his wife. Yet translations obscure these natural truths. In Genesis 1:1-2, the atom is formed from dust and given Nefesh, Strong's number 5315 self, person, then Ruah, Strong's number 7307, by the Elohim. Only they, as plural deities, could bestow breath, life, spirit, and soul. The Quran, too, confirms that man is created from a clinging clot, 96-2, and a drop of mixed sperm and ovum, 76-2, endowed with hearing and sight. Muhammad's revelation was in his own dialect, 14-4, 26-192-196, but later Arabic codifiers imposed grammar and vowels, obscuring root meaning shared with Hebrew. Thus Allah is plural, gods, not a singular deity, as seen in Daniel 11:36-37 and Psalm 82:1. These mistranslations perpetuate a lie, that there is one small g God created from nothing, and that Abrahamic faiths hold unvarying truth. In reality, the Elohim are a council of divine beings, crafting life across races, and only by returning to original root languages and recognizing the plural deities can we reclaim our lost Ba, soul.